Hi there, welcome to today's video. I'm making a cake plate from one piece of clay. I'm making my plate with a flat top and I'll show you how to add the rim later. So of course, I'm throwing the plate upside down. So this video follows my cake stand through to firing. I'll leave the glaze treatment for another video because I'm really keen to experiment with a majolica finish. So let's get started. I've prepared 1.5 kilos of clay and I'm just going to throw down and pat it and push it into the center of the wheel. If you do this, you save yourself a little work when centering. Oops, a little more patting and let's start centering. So my first move in centering is to bring the clay down into a cone shape. And then cone up as usual. By the way, people often call centering clay coning, which makes total sense. Keeping the clay in a cone shape helps you to center easily as you can move the clay from the bottom to the top and back to the bottom. Okay, so I digress. So I'm ready to bring part of the clay out into a plate shape, but only part of it. I'm leaving about a third of the clay in the center, and that is the clay I'm going to use to make the foot. So I'm actually just making the outer part of the plate, thinning it down. So there won't be much to trim on this form. In fact, this is a super efficient form to make. Making the base tidy. And now that I've finished with the plate, I'm ready to make the foot. So I'm just checking that the clay in the center is centered. And now I'm starting to push down into the middle of the foot. And I'm gauging how far down to push. I don't want to push down below the level of the plate on the outside. By the way, always make sure you push into the clay the required amount up front. It can be really tricky to thin out a base once you've pulled up the walls of your pot, in this case the foot. So now I'm pulling up the foot. It's really like making a pot, but it's in the middle of the plate. So bring up the walls, making sure to make them even. I'm using my flexible rib here to get an even curve. I'm going to measure a little too. I just want to make sure that it's the right height and the right width across the base. That looks good. So now I'm going to throw a little more. And I'm going to start to bring the base out. So I'm making sure that I compress the base of the foot, which is actually the base of the plate. And I'm just giving the base of the plate a little more shape. Remember to compress and remove the water from the foot. If I leave water in there, the plate may end up cracking. The plate will actually be under some stress as it dries. Any excess water will make the situation trickier. Okay, I think it's looking all right. I'm actually going to flip my cake plate and just take a look as to how it looks. I want to get the balance right between the plate and the foot. So I might just finish off the base a little. And just make sure that that base is perfectly even. And as I said, I'm not going to trim much, so I really want to get the bottom of the plate looking good. Now I'm ready to give the base a quick trim with my arrow tool, and then I'm going to wire. So once I've trimmed and wired on through, I'm going to let my cake stand dry super slowly. So I want it uniform in dryness, and I want it about leather hard. Certainly no drier. So leather hard is where you can just mark the clay with a fingernail. So I'm ready to flip my plate. So let's go. And remove the bat. Yep. And it looks good. It's reasonably flat. It with my Giffen grip. I'm using the long holders and just adjusting it gently. That feels great. And it feels centered. So now I'm just going to trim. So I'm using my wider trimming tool, and I'm just starting in the middle and moving the tool out to the edge. Not removing huge amounts of clay here. I really just want to smooth and compress the top. And just keep working. Trim around the edge a little. Keep starting in the center and moving outwards. So what you could do, if you really wanted to, was you could smooth the top like this and finish. But I'm actually going to do something else in the process. As I said at the start of this video, I'm going to give my cake stand a curved rim. And now that I've got the top of the cake stand pretty much the way I want it, I'm just using a sponge to wet down the rim. Now, as I do this, I slowly push the edge of the rim upwards. This is going to take some time, and I want to do these slowly and gently. This plate or stand will be glazed and decorated in the style of Majolica. That is, I'm going to use a tin white glaze and decorate with an overglazed design. So the clay I'm using is an earthenware clay. I probably wouldn't attempt a form as precarious as this, that is, an unsupported plate in this size in stoneware. In this thickness, the plate would totally slump. So here we are. I feel that this rim is gentle. So now to the most important part, dry super slowly, covered. Well, that's it for this video. Subscribe if you haven't already so that you can see how these cake plates work out. Your support is much appreciated. Like and comment or ask any questions below. And as always, thanks for watching.